Hey clowns, welcome to Crimelia Street. I'm Sam.
And I'm Tori.
And we are once again gathered here today.
Sometime after the escape attempt in the courtroom, his prison cell was searched, and he mentioned that they can't convict a dead man in a letter to his brother. So they found that in the search of his cell. And then he also wrote in a separate document of at least 6 unnamed victims, but 3 identifiable as Samantha and the couriers. They also found a noose in his cell that was made by blankets. The ACC, where he was being held, was still not taking proper precautions with this prisoner, even after the escape and after finding evidence of him planning suicide. They were still letting him shave with disposable razors. One of the investigators that had been championing for stricter protections for Keyes to prevent suicide attempts was being taken off the case, which was Payne. Keyes was given shoes with laces again, and all other precautions fell to the wayside after he was taken off the case. The FBI ended up calling off the landfill search for the couriers after not finding their bodies. At this point, there was a lot of questions in the city where the FBI agents were searching through the landfills, and the FBI had been able to keep those jurisdictions to not say anything to the media, or keep them from saying anything to the media. But at this point, they felt like they had to, the local jurisdictions. A Vermont media outlet named Keyes as the murderer of the couriers, and the FBI lost their bargaining chip to get more info, as not being in the media was the biggest thing that he wanted. Bell found a missing persons case to fit Israel's travels as he was coming back from the couriers. Lauren Spear was a 21-year-old sophomore at a university, and she had gone out for a night of drinking and wasn't seen again. This also made national media coverage because she was a white blonde. Keyes was driving through Indiana near the time where Lauren was last seen. They asked Keyes about it, and he laughed and said, "It'll be so hard for them to figure it out." And it's
Wow.
is he messing with them? It's just so hard to tell. It's so fucking annoying, dude.
Yeah.
Keyes mentioned it was at least a couple years before going into the military that he could do it and get away with it. And we don't know what it is. 1996 or 97, his family moved to Oregon. There was a beach they went to. He mentioned these remote restrooms in these areas and said that he took someone there, but he didn't kill her. And these are those restrooms where it's just the hole, but there's a solid building around it. It's almost like a porta potty.
Right, yeah. Those are not fun.
They are not fun. I'm so scared of falling in.
Right. And they're smelly.
So smelly. He mentioned that he had kits back then as well. He said he had grabbed the woman who was on an inner tube behind some of her friends. So they were all floating down the river and she was kind of straggling at the back. And he grabbed her. He said it wasn't the first time he'd sexually assaulted someone, but it was the first time he'd taken it to that level. He also mentioned here that he'd taken someone before, which could have only been in Colville, which is where those 2 younger girls went missing from.
Aww.
He mentioned he'd had it all planned out. He was planning to dump her body into the tank below the toilet. He restrained her to the handicap bars in the restroom. He sexually assaulted her once. She kept talking to him and told him he didn't need to do that because he was a very good-looking guy and that it wasn't that bad of a thing that he was doing to her and he could just let her go. She also didn't show that much fear, which was startling to him. She seemed more calm about it than he was, and he even mentioned that maybe she had been through something like this before because of how calm she seemed. He said he lost his nerve to actually take her life, and she had even told him her name. It was Leah or Nina or something like that, but didn't give her last name. He untied her and let her go, putting her back on her inner tube and pushing her back down the river. After this, he got paranoid about letting her go, and he felt lucky that he had gotten away with it and always felt like he should have killed her. They asked him if he ever made that mistake again, and he just said, well, as a response. Florida was a state of focus for investigators. So now we're in both of our areas.
Wow, yeah.
Lovely. And very different sides of the country. But he did have family in Florida, which is why it was a focus for investigators. There was someone called the Boca Killer, who I had never actually heard of until this. But he shared an MO with Keyes. A woman and her son were leaving the mall one day, the Boca Mall. She put her son in the car seat and went to the back of the car to put the stroller in the trunk. She heard her son calling out and looked around and saw a man in a floppy green hat sitting next to her son with a gun. He told her to get into the car and pointed that gun at her son. She got in the car. She's known only as Jane Doe still today. Good. He told her to head to an ATM and give him her cell phone and said if she does what he says, he'll take her back to the mall. He kept the gun pointed at her baby. She gave him money in bunches of $200 up to $600. She tried for a fourth time but was denied because she hit her daily limit. He didn't understand the daily limits, which is a common thing with Israel Keyes. The man told her to get back on the road. Her son had fallen asleep on the drive in the back, which made the woman feel like she was somewhat holding it together. The man told her to pull into a parking lot of a Hilton hotel, which was deserted. She didn't want to leave the baby in the car, and she begged him not to kill her. He said he wasn't going to. He wanted to drive and wanted her to get in the back seat. As she was switching places with him, she saw like a glint of the sun come off of something and looked down, and he had handcuffs. He cuffed her and put her in the back seat and then bound her ankles with zip ties and bound her neck around the headrest. He duct taped dark sunglasses around her eyes, and she could barely see. She could see him bring out a knife and begged him not to kill her. The toddler, at this point, he's driving. The toddler drops his bottle and started crying, and she kind of panicked, wondering if that's going to, like, set him over the edge or not. And he just turned around and picked up the bottle and gave it back to the toddler. 4 hours had gone by at this point. He said he's going to let her call someone. She gave him the name of her son's father. She could see they were back at the mall at this point. She told her son's father that she was broken down at the mall and asked the father to come get them. Keyes told her when not Keyes, whoever this is, told her when the police got there to tell them that he's short, fat, and black. So, potential white supremacy issues here.
Right.
He removed the sunglasses, and she got a good look at him at this point. He was tall, athletic, and lean with long, wavy black hair. He took her sunglasses and pulled out some blackened out swim goggles and strapped them to her eyes. He said, if I see anything on the news with my face, my picture, or my description, I will come after you. He closed the door and left. She slid her hands over her feet, pulled the goggles down, and somehow broke the zip tie around her neck. She went to the mall's valet and asked them to call the police, and the valet didn't believe her that this had happened because I guess this kind of thing never happened in that area at the time. And then when the police got there, they also did not believe her.
Oh my god. How terrifying.
Right.
With your kid and oh my god.
I know, dude, this like story, that's why I'm like reading it so fast. That, and it's been forever since we started this. But yeah, no, this one, like, I don't know, I did not like learning of it. There was no witnesses or physical evidence, and they didn't believe she could have escaped the restraints that she was describing. About 3 months later, she got a call from Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. They were working a cold case of a woman abducted from the Boca Raton Mall around the same time that she was. The woman also had been driving a black SUV like she had with tinted windows and had been taken from the garage around the same time as she had, around 1:15 in the afternoon. This woman's name was Randy Goindberg. 30 minutes after her abduction, a call came into 911, and the caller said he had seen the door of a black SUV open and a woman slumped over and fall into the ground. It looked like she had been pushed out of the vehicle. He got closer to the body and realized that she was dead, and she was shot in the head twice. She had no enemies, no problems, no debts. She was found 5 miles from the mall with valuables still with her, so it wasn't just a robbery. The SUV was found nearby, abandoned behind a Home Depot, and Jane Doe was their only lead at this point. Before midnight on December 12th, 4 months to the day after her and her toddler were abducted at the mall, a guard approached an idling black SUV in the parking lot, and inside were the bodies of 40-year-old Nancy Bokiko and her 7-year-old daughter, Jody.
Aw.
I know, dude.
That's awful.
Nancy was found just like Jane Doe had been, with blacked out swimming goggles on as well. There was a single gunshot wound to each of their heads. Jane told police this man had some kind of kit with him. He knew where ATM cameras were and knew how to avoid them. Police were able to track the items from the kit as being bought at a big store in Miami, purchased shortly before Nancy and Jody were murdered. No DNA was recovered. The task force was dissolved a year later, but Jane Doe was able to give them a description of the man before they were dissolved. The physical resemblance to Keyes was startling. Other things that point to Keyes possibly being this person, or some things that point to it, are the kit telling the police he was black, abducting pairs, knives, zip ties. The abductor wore his hair in a long ponytail down the back of his neck, and Keyes had a pentagram tattooed on the back of his neck. So it was like, was he trying to cover that up because it was so hot? Why wear your hair down in a ponytail instead of up, you know?
Right.
Keyes' whereabouts during these times is unknown, but during each of these crimes he was traveling. Jane Doe kept talking to him like everything was normal, and she thinks that's why her and her son survived that day. And that goes back to him letting that one girl away to the inner tuber.
Right, right. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Just, oof.
There's a lot to this one. There was a similar abduction at a nearby shopping center as well. A woman was walking to her car when an armed man confronted her, ordering her to drive him to an ATM. She started screaming, "Leave, leave," and he fled. She later looked at the police sketch Jane Doe had helped with and said the man looked exactly the same. This case still remains open. Investigators had recovered one of Keyes' caches buried in May 2001 at Eagle River. At one point in his interrogations, Keyes mentioned he would tinker with explosives and use them as distractions for crimes sometimes. At this point, the case kind of took a shift. Bomb squads were deployed to all of his previous residences. He admitted to fantasizing about killing police, and they were concerned maybe he was planning on blowing up churches eventually. The FBI didn't release what they'd found during the searches, but they added terrorism as a classification to Keyes' case after this. After 10 p.m. on December 1st, 2012, Keyes committed suicide in his prison cell with a razor blade and a noose. He drew 12 skulls on the wall in his own blood, and the words "We are one" written underneath. He also wrote Belize. They figured he had murdered 11 people and the 12th skull was likely his. They believed him when he said his final number was less than a dozen, and a dozen was a really weird number to use because people usually count in 5s or 10s. So if he didn't say 10 and he said less than a dozen, they're assuming 11.
Interesting. Okay.
After the FBI went public about Keyes, now that he's passed away and they're not using that as a bargaining chip, people from all over the country mentioned sightings of Keyes. The FBI hasn't searched Crescent Lake yet, which is the lake that he said 4 people are in, and they tried to get authorization to search that and they were denied. And I think it goes like 800 feet in some areas. So
Yeah.
could you imagine though, like, I wonder if there's people who swim in that lake,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
you know?
That's like, that'd be like swimming in the middle of like Crater Lake, which I guess would be worse, but yeah.
Yeah, and Crater Lake's like protected, so I don't think you can, but like most the lakes in like Washington and Oregon, people swim in, you know?
Yeah, yeah. 800
Ugh.
feet.
Yeah, dude. And I'm sure there's shallower areas like where people would be swimming.
Right.
But like it's just so gross that you could be floating around
With like that. Also.
with 4 bodies in there. Yeah.
Ugh.
And it's so sad too that they can't get the authorization. Like I get it, because he could even just be lying too.
Right, right.
But God,
Huh.
yeah.
Yeah.
There could be people down there. January 9th, 2013, Tammy told the FBI she had a nagging suspicion. In December 2000 or early 2001, their neighbor had gone missing on a hike, and she hadn't seen Keyes that day or night, which now struck her as weird. The death was ruled an accident, as the person was hiking, I guess, but he did say that there was one that was ruled an accident that he did.
Okay.
After his suicide, a closed-door hearing regarding the Anchorage Correctional Complex, that was ACC, was held. The report determined he had slashed and strangled himself between 10:12 and 10:24 p.m., bleeding out on the floor. His body was found at 6 a.m. Much of the story is hard to believe. Arbitrators have one theory that one or two people who are unknown moved him out of the cell and gave him a razor. These facilities at this time were so corrupt between the Attorney General, the prosecutor, and ACC that they were advised by their attorneys to not keep records of circumstances of inmate deaths.
Yikes.
In 2018, the Anchorage Daily News reported that ACC secretly wired the visitation rooms Keyes used, violating client lawyer privilege. The prison has kept everything involved that night secret, including video and audio recordings. Which, like, is that fucking legal?
Right. Very suspicious.
Yeah, that's crazy that could be legal.
Yeah.
Department of Corrections Special Incident Report provides more details. 7 p.m. Keyes went to the law library for the third time in a row. 9 p.m. he was escorted back to his cell. The guard that night said he did a security check and updated paperwork and was relieved twice for breaks. They did the last security check around 5:30 a.m. and went off duty 10 minutes later and saw nothing out of the ordinary in Keyes' cell throughout the night, and that he was rolled up in his blankets as every other night he was on shift with no parts of his body showing. At 5:57 a.m. is when another guard performed a head count and saw what looked like blood in the cell and called for help. His body at this point was stiff. The nurse reported the body was in rigor mortis. He had taken a razor blade, embedded it into a pencil, and used it to slit his wrist. Keyes had looped a sheet around his neck and tied it to his left foot and used that to strangle himself as well. I guess 3 hours. This is over 3 hours. Which,
We did it! You did it!
that was a lot, dude. I will say...
That is crazy. What a monster.
Right?
Oh my god.
When I first, heard about this case, I stopped listening to true crime podcasts for, 2 months.
It's like, okay.
These are the ones that can make you real paranoid, just,
Dude, yeah. Right, because it's just, we all, leave the mall, or, are walking to our car from the mall, for
Right.
example, or whatever,
You have to put the stroller in the trunk.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's...
Have you seen, there's this, lady on TikTok who, because, you see a lot of, not a lot, but how do I say this? People will post TikToks, it will usually be, white women, and they'll be like, I was almost human trafficked, or, at Hobby Lobby, or something like that, and...
I have seen some of those before. I didn't know it was a thing.
I have no, well, pretty much, so this lady pretty much is no, you're not. You're just crying white women tears. There's no reason for you to be cautious, because this, you're not just going to get abducted, because 99.9 abductions are by people that the person knows, and blah, 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 blah. But honestly, I am always vigilant, I'm sorry, even if it's just someone being a creeper, looking at you weird,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, dude, I'm gonna be paranoid about that, and I don't
For sure.
think, she's acting like it's ridiculous that we would be worried about someone snatching us.
It's literally the life we lead. Yeah, maybe it's not that common for it to be, random people, but women are targeted. If we're gonna play a stats battle game,
Right.
it's always women. So we're fucking
Yeah.
scared.
Exactly, yeah. And, I don't think... it's not like I'm constantly like paranoid, but like I'm always looking around, seeing who's around me. Yeah, especially when I have, you know, my kid with me. Like,
I know. Sometimes I'll like catch myself like staring at my phone as I'm like walking around the store or something, and I'm like, you're on right now. You can't do that. You need to be paying attention to your surroundings. That's terrible.
Right.
But
it is. It is. So.
Should we talk about a little bit of happy stuff?
Okay.
I almost feel like we needed a palate cleanser in the middle of that.
No, we're fine. We're fine. This is like, it's fine.
Yeah. I love going to bed right after this.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. No, I actually I want to Google him like after this just to like see a picture of him and stuff.
Yeah, dude.
But it was a fun Swifty week.
Yes. Happy stuff. Yeah. We clowned and we frowned, which is why my sign-in name today is Clownin' and Frownin'.
Makes sense. Yep. Appropriate.
Yeah.
For sure.
I will say I like yours, Taylor's thigh-high boots. Like, we have been getting so many of those.
I know. I love them.
I love them. She wears them so beautifully. They don't look good on me. Something about the thickness of my thighs. The thigh-highs don't work.
Yeah, I don't, I think you have to be like a certain height to like wear them.
Ooh. That makes
you need
sense.
the height.
That's probably what it is.
That's okay. Like, we're just two
I can
shorties.
pull off some platforms, okay?
Yes. Like, we're more like Sabrina Carpenter
Yes.
style.
Amber and I are going to Sabrina Carpenter next month, and I haven't decided if I want to go baby blue platforms or like iridescent, but
Cute.
yes, I'm so excited to have this.
I love that. I love the little like lipstick kiss on her thigh at the VMAs.
Oh my gosh.
You guys should like totally do that.
No, actually, that's a great idea. I hadn't even thought of that.
If you know the outfit
Like a little
allows,
tattoo.
but yeah,
It does.
But Taylor's outfits were like so cool. Her three different outfits. Yeah.
Did you know, I guess the last outfit she had, which was the same scene as the second dress, but a different dress. So I was like, is there a filter on that picture, or is it the same dress? Is it a different one?
Right.
I finally figured it out. But yeah, she had that so the yellow plaid one with like the strappy glove things for the first dress, which was stunning. The boobs were boobing.
Boobs were boobing.
Spilling. They were spilling out.
Yeah.
And then the second was my favorite with the UFO and the green.
Same. That was so cool.
So shimmery.
Right.
And the like cut, it was kind of like bunched on the side on one thigh. I don't know that like it had like a diagonal cut at the bottom. So good.
Yeah.
It was perfect length. And
Very
it,
down bad.
Very down bad. Into reputation, if you ask me, because it had the down bad UFO, and then it was very green at the bottom. So I was like, she's saying goodbye to TTPD when she goes up on the stage and announces Reputation Taylor's version.
Oh my gosh, did you see, it was right before LL Cool J came on, or who was it? Someone announced that it was a rapper who announced that he was releasing new music, like it was one of the and someone literally had a Reputation CD in the background holding it up.
I did not see that.
I'll have to find it, but it's hilarious. Yeah.
That is so funny.
Yeah. Oh, have you seen the people clowning over those like strappy things on the first outfit?
Like 6 straps or something, or 12 straps, so it's TS12.
Or something more like, I saw some of that. There's apparently Roman numerals in there, so I'm just like, guys, I don't know. But also, like, as soon as she said, because it was on 9/11.
Yes.
And I had a feeling like that was the main reason why, she wouldn't announce on that date. But as soon as she gave the 9/11 speech, I was like, okay, for sure.
Sorry, I thought I was hearing something. I'm so spooked.
Yeah.
It's probably like just the cats like banging around.
Right.
No, that's a good point, too. Yeah, why she wouldn't announce on that day.
But I wonder if the debate hadn't originally been the night before, like, would she have announced something then? I don't know.
I know. And she already had the dress made. The dress is
she's-
my new coffee cup. I can't.
Right. One day.
You know what? She wore that black celestial dress for her birthday before announcing TTPD. So maybe
True.
it's still a sign, just not yet. But if I'm being honest, and I was talking to Amber about this the other night, I think I've given up for this year for Reputation. Because we know something big is happening December 13th. It's, since the LA pop, like, that's such a clear Easter egg, and it's one that is more kind of on brand than
Right.
finding Roman numerals in the straps of the of the gloves, or the Rubik's Cube cat.
Oh my god.
Outfits, like. This one, I think we can all agree something's happening December 13th, and I really feel like it's going to be debut.
Right, okay.
I don't think it would be Reputation. I'd say debut or very small chance of Karma. I don't think it'd be Reputation.
I just, like, I keep on going back and forth. I know everyone is waiting for Reputation, like, clearly. But it's
the
just,
dilemma.
like, it's like, it's like the first with the last. The first and the last. Like, it just kind of makes sense, but also, I don't know.
It just makes so much sense for her to release Taylor Swift, though, on her birthday, too.
True.
Is another
and it's
reason
like a
I
Friday
can't.
the 13th, right?
Yeah.
And that's like her thing, you know?
Yeah.
That's our lucky day. It's like our holiday.
I know.
We have the holy month of August. Then we have December
And I just
13th.
don't think there's enough time in between now and December 13th. We may get an announcement before December 13th, or we get an announcement on December 13th. But I don't think there's enough time now for two things to happen.
No. And then, like, people keep on bringing up, like, she sticks to the pattern of 2 re-releases, 1 new album, 2 re-releases, 1 new album.
Pattern isn't solid enough, I feel like, because she's only been doing the re-releases for so long. I think she definitely sticks to every 2 years for the new albums.
Right. And also, it's like Folklore and Evermore were that's kind of,
That's true.
a weird thing. And also, what was I going to say? And Tortured Poets did kind of seem like not something that wasn't necessarily like super planned in advance the way that she has done the other albums. It was more so, I don't know. Right?
I can't tell with Tortured Poets Department because, she said 2 years. I think that they were planning to do Reputation and they switched. They said it was a red herring. I think they switched shit up last minute.
Right. Remember the day of, like, the Grammys and, like, with the website and, dude, that was like a crazy day.
That was crazy. Now, that was a wild Easter egg. The red herring, the 3-2-1 code, like, that's crazy.
We were, like, all high in that moment, just, like, on the adrenaline, like,
Yeah.
what's happening?
The second she came in with the white dress, I was like, oh my god, is it just a new album? This doesn't line up. The math isn't math. The colors aren't coloring.
Right. Not at all.
Like, there's black on the gloves, but the whole fucking thing is white.
Like a freaking albatross. Wow.
What a day to be a
time.
Swiftie.
I know. I'm just glad we were there to see it.
And we need that high again.
Yeah, we need it.
Getting real itchy over here.
Yeah, my feet. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if you saw, but Flavor Flav loves Taylor. Oh,
yes.
I shared that with you, right?
I think so. I just know that he's been to her shows and he's like done the whole friendship bracelets thing, but
Well, what I'm referring to is in response to Donald Trump's I hate Taylor Swift. Flavor Flav made a post that just said it all caps, I love Taylor Swift with exclamation points.
Amazing.
And then someone commented and said, "Oh, just pandering to the Swifties. That's pretty pathetically hilarious." And he's like, "You must be new here. Allow me to reintroduce myself. They call me King Swiftie."
Oh my gosh.
He's always been a Swiftie.
Right, exactly. So what?
Mm-hmm. But I love that he, like, had that kind of counter tweet.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Yeah, the endorsement was a pretty crazy moment as well. So that was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was funny because it's like, I was like, why hasn't she done it yet?
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized because she's a mastermind, she was waiting for the right time.
Yep. And boy, did she choose the right moment, I would think. I think when she did the Biden-Harris cookies, I think it was in October. It was right before the election. So people are saying, okay, is she being strategic like that way to wait a bit? But yeah, right after the debate was the perfect moment.
Totally agree.
It was just wonderful. And actually, remember the Swifties for Harris? Yes. Like we were on that like Zoom call. That was so cool to see, and oh my god!
And all that money got raised on that call too. That was really cool.
For sure. And I think I saw like it was 400,000 people followed that link that she posted to register to vote that night. Dude, it's like that is influence. That's some power there.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. So.
That's really cool.
So everyone can do their own research and choose the candidate that is best for them.
Signed, childless cat lady. Like,
right, like, yeah,
love
it was
that.
great. For sure.
Send us an email at crimeliast@gmail.com. Follow us on TikTok at crimeliast podcast. And follow us on Instagram at Crimelia Street.
That's all for this episode of Crimelia Street. See you later, clowns.
Bye, clowns.
Cool.